Good morning, everybody.
Right.
I am working on getting this to connect. There we go. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Can everyone on Zoom hear me okay? Yes. Yes. I can't tell.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you. Perfect. All right. Well, we're going to dive right in because we've got a lot of stuff to go over today. Couple things before we get started. Class is tomorrow. It is in person at Living and on Zoom, and it's going to be on preparing for a listing appointment and doing a CMA and all the things to do with that. So a lot of you guys have been, I'll just be honest, waiting until you have a listing and then in an absolute panic, not knowing what to do. So the reason I put this class on the calendar is so that you can at least have some idea of what that process looks like before it all of a sudden just comes out of nowhere. So we just never know. And the good news is this: if you're doing all the things on your GPS and you're doing all of the things that you're supposed to be doing to generate business, we never know when a buyer is going to show up or when a listing is going to happen, right? And the easy part about working with buyers is you just schedule an appointment and have some knowledge of the house. And then you have a minute to take a breath before you have to write an offer potentially. But with a listing, you really have to prepare ahead of time before you go to someone's house. If you guys are going to somebody's house without knowing what you're doing, you've already lost the opportunity to probably get that listing. If you got it like that, it was probably a friend of the family who was going to list with you anyway. That is not a congratulations, pat yourself on the back moment. That was not up against another agent. That was not in a situation where you should have used it as an opportunity to practice and prepare. So that's why we put that on the calendar. So I hope to see a lot of your faces there because I know who you are when you call me late at night and say, oh my gosh, I have a listing appointment tomorrow and I don't even know how to do it at all. So I expect to see a good amount of you guys there. But I'm going to while I'm pulling up my share screen here, I'm going to let Kate jump in and tell us about our post today. We do have a few people on here, Kate, that have not been here before. So if you'll just explain kind of what we're doing and why you do it.
Yes. So hi guys, my name's Kate. I am your mortgage lender at Cross Country Mortgage. I work with Jeff Armbruster as well, so you'll see football cases from time to time, but mostly mine. In addition to getting all of your clients pre-approved, answering all of your mortgage questions, one kind of piece of added value is we provide you with a social media graphic that you can use every single week. And essentially just to your sphere of influence and get you business out of it. I was a realtor for 6 years and then Keller Williams team here for 2 years before I jumped into the crazy mortgage side of the business. So I absolutely understand how to build your book of business in addition to really understanding kind of like the questions that you ask in a transaction, really similar to Gina. I have people call me all the time asking what to fill out on the purchase agreement. So if you have questions about that, you can certainly call me as well. So today's graphic, it really is just pretty fun. There's not a whole lot of actual value when it comes to today's value in terms of knowledge or anything like that. But it's really kind of meant to engage your audience. So this is definitely a graphic where you'll want to see a lot of comments, a lot of likes, maybe even have some conversations in the comments as well. This one's just a fun one. We posted this one on Team Armbruster this morning too. And how we did it was just say, whatever your style is, we can finance all of the options. And then said, here's the Team Armbruster roster, and just had every team member pick out a letter. So I would do something really similar if I were you. I would say something like, no matter what type of house you're looking at, I can sell it for you, or I can find it for you. And then just provide your answer and then say, which one would you pick below? This is just a really good way to just get people talking and engaging on your Facebook. Not every post that you should do should be like right out of the real estate encyclopedia. You shouldn't just be a knowledge-based realtor when it comes to social media or marketing. Half of it is really kind of playing the game and making sure people see your page, people engage with your posts, and people are adding you as a friend, so forth. So things like that. So this was just fun. Not a ton of backstory needed for that one, but for anybody else that's new to the group, you can always find all of my graphics in a Google Drive. Gina calls Kate's social media. And so I would highly encourage you to look through that folder and just pull any of the ones that resonate with you and your business. And if you have any questions or want more specific marketing in one direction, just text me or send me an email. I'll come to my office and we can help you get some custom marketing all worked up for you. I think I nailed.
Yeah, the only thing I would say I do with this, so a couple things. So it's already created for you. So all of you should at least have on your GPS that you're going to do one social media post a week. And if you don't want to think about content or you don't really want to dig into what other people are doing, you've got one created for you that's ready to go. And sometimes there's more information like, hey, first time home buyer program, blah, blah, blah. Other times we, like Kate said, put in cute little fun things. And I happen to love this one. I've seen so many people on social media putting different random pictures of houses, and so much conversation happens in the comments of why you like what kind of style of house. I don't know why people like to talk about that, but they do. And so I think that's a great one. So I think I'll be posting this one later myself if I can remember to do it. And so what I do with the post are I take the download and plop it into Command, and then I put my photo and my information on it. It's already branded with all three Market Centers Keller Williams logo, as it's branded with Cross Country Mortgage on it as well. So if you do go ahead and post it, make sure that you're friends with Kate and Jessica and that you tag them in it as well. You want to get as much momentum from that as possible. Any questions for Kate about the social media post or about lending in general? If not, we will move on.
Perfect. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Thanks so much. All right. Aiden,
Hi.
welcome.
Hi,
How are things going?
stressed.
Yeah,
I have a closing today,
very good.
next week, one the week after.
So what kinds of things are you working on this week to generate new business?
It just expires, cold calling, that's it.
Okay, so what are you doing with that?
I just call them, I make a list on the MLS, I have a big property list on my phone,
Okay,
and then I just,
how are you getting their phone numbers?
forewarn.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we did a class a couple weeks ago on expired listings, and that was the big question is, where do I find these people's phone numbers? We did record that class, guys, so if you need it and you weren't there, but so you just put their name in forewarn and most of the time their phone number comes up?
Unless it's like an LLC, then I just skip it.
Sure. So what kind of reception are you getting when you're getting those calls?
I'd say I get 3 every 100,
Okay,
and then like maybe 1 will meet with me.
okay,
I have
so
one
if,
meeting with me.
so how many are you calling a day?
It's not really like sometimes I do a lot, sometimes I don't.
Okay, that's
When I have
okay.
free time, I just do it.
Yeah.
I'd say like 20 to 50.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. And so it looks like you're getting some results from it. So the 3 sales that you have right now, and Aiden's been licensed a little over a month. Where did those each come from? Where did that business come from?
My SOI, one was from Brendan. I sent him a client when I was pre-licensed.
Okay,
So he brought me on a deal.
Gotcha.
I did some showings for her as well.
Sure.
Yeah.
gotcha. So SOI, so let's talk about that. So one of the things that we talk about doing is getting word out to everybody that we know that we sell real estate. So it sounds like you were doing that, even when you were still in school.
I'm trying to target my high school. Cause I graduated at 22. So
Okay.
everyone now is trying to get credit,
Mhm.
getting their $18, $19 an hour jobs.
Yeah.
So I convinced them it's time to buy a house.
They can buy a house. Okay. So they've been able to buy, so like the 2 sales were both people from high school?
Yeah.
So, well, good to know.
Thank you, Gina.
Well, thanks for being here.
Of course.
Chelsea's coming here to visit us today. I won't put you on the spot too much, but can you just tell the group where you're at in the process of getting licensed and all that good stuff?
In May, and I graduated with all of my real estate certifications.
Yep.
So right now I'm looking for a sponsoring broker in order to sit for my exam.
Yeah. So she's just coming today to visit with us to kind of see what we're all about. We had a nice phone conversation and I invited her in to see what new people are doing here at KW versus just hearing me tell her about it. I like for people to actually come and get to experience the different things that we do. So welcome and thanks so much for joining us today. So Kaylee, tell us what's happening with you. What happened with your buyer yesterday?
From the beginning, it was just kind of like I got there like 20 minutes early to the open house, like normal, and he like pulled up and he's like, I have somewhere to be, like, can I come in? And I was like, yeah, whatever. But he was just like, he was like a 70-year-old man, kind of like, like the weird, like, not hitting on me. It was just like weird, like
Uncomfortable.
Yeah, and I was just like, it was like fine, whatever. And then he was like, yeah, can I bring my wife back later? So we went back. She's like, I think you should wait and decide. I was like, well, offers are due today at 12.
Okay,
So, he called me last night, we talked about some things, I answered some questions, I called him back, didn't get an answer, called him back this morning, I haven't heard, so.
okay. So you were thinking possibly he liked the house enough to make an
Yeah,
offer.
I mean, he was a cash buyer, he was looking for an investment,
I see.
so, he was like all in, his wife was kind of like, we need to go home and talk, and
So that brings up an interesting dynamic. So we don't always know who the decision maker is. A lot of times we're communicating with one person. So it's either you're always talking to one of them and you never talk to the other one. It's a little different dynamic on a listing appointment. Obviously, you hope for both the people to be there. So it sort of is like when people bring their kids through a showing, the kids are picking out bedrooms and we start getting really excited because that means that they're going to buy the house, but the kids aren't the decision makers, right? So, but it's a good way to kind of start to communicate and see. It sounds to me like he's the excitable one and she's the one who puts the hammer down and makes the decision. But with that said, what I would try to do is get the decision maker's contact information so that you can follow up with her. So right now, if obviously they missed out because if the house had a deadline, there was probably multiple offers on it. What I would say your follow-up from here on out is this. I would love to send you some more houses similar to the house, even look on the MLS and find some other houses that are similar. And I'd like to send those to you. Would you mind go ahead and give me your email? Unless did they sign in at the open house?
no, well, he gave me his, he like wrote it on, he was 70.
Yeah.
He like, so I have like a feedback thing where you like, he's,
Okay.
so he wasn't really into it, but he just wrote down his name and number, so.
Okay.
That I can contact him.
Gotcha. Yep. And so I would just try to see if you can set him up in some kind of a search. And believe me when I say don't let age get in the way. I sold a sight unseen condo a couple years ago to a 95-year-old man moving back here from Florida. So, and he signed all the documents, by the way, on his iPhone at 95 years old. So like it can happen. My 72-year-old mother always says, I can't text. I'm like, I have a 95-year-old client that signed his real estate documents from his iPhone. You can text. So, just see what you can do to hold it together. So what kind of things are you working on this week to generate business?
Mostly I've just been focusing on him, I was just really stressed out about it. 'Cause I was
Yeah.
trying to figure out if I was gonna write the offer.
So
No.
where did you get the open house? Tell us about that.
So I did Saturday for Hannah Labs.
Okay, good.
Usually, we'll ask Jessica.
Yeah.
To do them, and Jessica wasn't available, so I did it for her, and then Sunday was the AAA team.
Oh, okay,
So
good.
it was, Amy's.
Nice. Oh, good. Well, I'm glad that that's starting to work out for people.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. Well, good. So just kind of following up from people from the open house, other people come or no?
I had 4 groups on Saturday and
Very good. And I'm happy you're diving right in and you're doing multiple open houses on a weekend. So that's great. A lot of you guys have a minimum amount of open houses on your GPS. And I'm sure you've seen in the chat, just this week, we've had 2 people sell their first houses from open house. And both of them, guys, were well over 400,000, both of them. And they were someone who came to the open. So, and don't count on selling the open house at open all the time, but it's just a great way to pick up buyers and it's definitely working. So, all right. Jeff, tell us what's happening with you this week.
Not too much. I had an open house this weekend. It's been boring. Only got one group through, but
Okay.
I struggle with like getting people in an open house to sign in. Like,
Mhm.
I don't know, if I might start doing like an individual sign-in sheet that I give them
Mhm.
to sign in instead of like, because I always tell like, here's the MLS paper, here's the sign-in sheet, like they just look at it and walk away.
So with confidence, here's how that's going to look. And we can have everybody kind of tell us what they're doing, but a couple things with that. Don't make it an option. In the script is this. Thanks so much for joining my open house today. My seller requires everyone who enters their home sign in. How can they say no to that? This is not brand new construction. This is not a vacant house. This is somebody's home. They live here and they want to know they're relying on me to tell them who's been in their house. You know what's strange? most people don't want to take the time to think of a fake name, so they just write their right information. So most of the time you'll get them to sign in if you do that. So the seller requires, I ask everybody to sign into their home, never house, it's always home. By the way, it's only house when you want someone to disconnect from their home. And then it's home when you don't want them to, when you want them to make a connection. And then the other way is having something on a clipboard that is asking for feedback as they're walking through. So would you mind filling out this feedback form as you're walking through the house? Because my seller requires I give them a really thorough down low of the feedback, is one way. Another way is this. I don't know why people are so crazy about gift cards. Buy my own coffee, but we all like those $5 gift cards or a $20 gift card to a gas station or something like that. So you can make a little, some people have done baskets. I don't know that I would do that at a open house that's only got one person, but something on a plastic stand with a flyer that says, sign in and enter into my drawing for the week or something like that, or this thing. And it could be anything. People love that crap. So, and then what they have to do is give you clear information. I have to be able to read your signature, your name, read your phone number, and read your email address. I would even go as far as to say to them, also like me on Facebook. And then I'm going to do a Facebook Live at the end of the week to, draw the winner. And to not have to tie it up in one person that comes to one open house, it's for the week. So all of the people from any open house you did for the week is going to go into the same drawing. Those are just some ideas of being able to get people's, because I also hear this a lot. It was wrong. It was wrong information, or I couldn't read it because they scribbled. So then now you've guilted me into signing in, and now I'm going to scribble. So the way to get them not to do that is to have something that hooks them into, even a $5, thanks a latte for a $5 gift card to your favorite coffee place or something like that.
Yeah, I need to do something, because I had, the other weekend I had an open house where I got like 25 people through.
Uh-huh.
I think like 5 signed in and 2 of them had agents.
Okay.
So,
And that's okay too. So look at it this way. Were you on the open house class that we did from Elevate on Zoom? Where Rich was talking. So his philosophy was, I want 4 people. I don't care if 25 come, I'm looking for 4. I'm looking for 4 good people from every open house. And if you only have 4, I'm looking for 1. In the amount of time that you're spending, in all seriousness, once you get on a path of how to prepare for open house, it's not real hard. Sure, you can invest some time into maybe going inviting neighbors ahead of time and creating flyers that you're passing out or doing social media posts. So there is time invested there. But if you do an hour to an hour and a half open house and you get 1 solid lead who doesn't have an agent and wants to work with you, that's worth thousands of dollars, that person. So don't look at it like 10 people came and I only got 4. Look at it like I got the 4 I came to get. Does that make sense?
right.
And only if one of them, I would say this, if 1 out of every 4 opens I do buys and sells with me, that is worth doing the open house. It's thousands of dollars. So there you go. So we'll hear how you do next week. So what other things are you working on this week to generate business?
I'm trying to door knock some instead of just calling them.
Yeah.
I door knocked a couple last week. I talked to one for a while. I'm trying to convert her, but she wants me to help, but she doesn't want to pay me.
That's always the way.
She's like, what do you suggest for a price?
Oh,
I'm like,
yeah. That's okay. So you're here to come from a place of service, because here's what happens. You're not going to change their mind until their mind is changed because they can't sell it themselves. So what you're looking for sale by owner is just be the agent of choice when and if she decides to list.
Okay.
Not, I'm trying to convince her to list. I want to get in front of as many for sale by owners as I can that will, if you take a look and start monitoring for sale by owners, I'm going to say, I don't know what the numbers are, 75% off the top of my head, I think, will eventually be listed with an agent. Just drive past a for sale by owner every week for a month and you'll eventually see a for sale sign there. So most of them do actually list. And so your job with the for sale by owner isn't to convince them to list, because they're gonna, what you're saying is, I need to convince you to give me money, and right now you don't wanna. But not until they start getting sick of going home and having to let the kids out and the dogs out and get the house clean, and I'm at work and oh my gosh. And then I don't know how to negotiate an offer, and we got it sold. These are the things you're gonna hear from for sale by owners. And then it fell through and I don't know why, and blah, blah, blah. So start finding out as they are in the process of being for sale by owner, what are the things that they're liking and what are the things they're not. Also, you can offer to host an open for them, and then you can still pick up buyers that way too.
Yeah, she doesn't want to, because she wants to move because of her neighbor, she's kind of crazy, but
That's okay. But yeah, so the follow-up is this: hey, so-and-so, I just want to be here for you and available. So at some point, if you ever should decide to list, that it's with me and not with some other agent.
yeah, she wants to buy, so I'm trying to get into that, you know.
So working with for sale by owners as buyers is a great thing. They are people that are announcing that they're ready to sell, and therefore they're probably ready to buy. And so going at it from that angle is a great one. Even if you never get the listing, you have a buyer. Also this, for a flat fee, I can negotiate the contract for you. So if you want to list, do your own thing, when you actually have the buyer, I'll charge you a much reduced commission or a flat fee, depending on the price of the house, and I'll negotiate the contract for you. So that's another way of working with a for sale by owner that can make you money. Awesome. Tell us what you've got going on, Christy.
Well, I am fairly new. I am dual occupation, so I still work a part-time job. And I'm just trying to absorb all of the information and figure out exactly what I need to do and where I need to go. I am fortunate that I work for a custom home builder, so we will be listing one of our spec homes for the Parade of Homes here in the next couple of weeks, which was just, great timing. So I'm looking forward to learning a lot through that process to just really get me started and going.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome. Well, we're excited to have you.
thank you.
And congratulations, Ethan, on your first sale. So tell us what you're working on this week.
So I have an open house set up for Saturday. So that should be pretty rewarding as they are. And then I just got done with a meeting today with a former high school friend, kind of just acquaintance.
Mhm.
And she works at Key Bank now, and she's just a personal banker, but she reached out to me to get business cards because she has people come in asking about buying or selling a house.
Okay.
And her agent with Remax, I guess, got out of the business, so she's gonna put my stuff out there, and I don't really have to do anything for that.
Nice.
So hopefully that turns out to be good. Other than that, it's just, I got inspections on Wednesday, listing appointment on Friday from the open house from last week.
Nice.
So yeah.
So how did you flop from an open house buyer to a listing appointment?
Yeah, so Saturday I had that open house, and I'll just give a brief
Yeah.
explanation on that. That was kind of interesting. The buyer or the seller was a for sale by owner, and he ended up staying. It wasn't a for sale by owner listing, but it previously was.
Okay.
And so he ended up staying at the open house the whole time,
Oh,
which was
Odd.
very interesting.
Yeah.
I've never had that happen.
no, not usual.
And he was following around people, like trying to explain them things about the house and whatnot. So I was
Right.
like, but yeah, I ended up pulling one buyer from that wants to put an offer on the house. So I'm working on her mortgage, and then the person I'm talking about who's listing appointment, they were looking at the house, didn't really like it, but they have a house up in Akron, and she was like, I don't even know what it's worth. I don't know when I want to sell. And I was like, hey, just let me come up, let me look at it, and I'll give you a price. And you don't even have to sell right now. Like I just
Yeah.
want to help you out. And so, yeah, she was completely fine with that. So
Keep this in mind too. In the drive in scripts, there's a script that you guys will want to start to get familiar with. Maybe we'll script this out on Friday during scripting. Is the holiday script, because you're going to get an awful lot of buyers and sellers, in particular sellers right now, that say, I don't want to list my house right now because I don't want to list through the holidays. And we've got a script around that, because that's gonna start coming up, or buyers who say, I don't really wanna move in the winter time. So here's just real quick on that. I would rather move in the snow any day than the rain.
Yeah.
Right? So like at any given moment, we can have a downpour. Clearly, we've had a ton lately. So, and it doesn't usually even really get bad here
Right.
till after January, but so keep in mind those scripts as well. But yeah, awesome.
Yeah,
So it sounds like open house is the lead generating thing for you
Yeah.
that's working a lot.
open houses have been great, and I think it like just boils down to like how I communicate with people. So,
Mhm.
I heard you like right whenever I came in and talking about sign-in sheets. I have a form that I created that I have a walk around with the board, so they
Okay.
come in, it's sitting right there for them. I say, hey, guys, welcome to open house, give a brief, description, introduction, and then I just let them, I say, hey, guys, I'll let you guys walk around the house, I want to be in your business, and come back to me at the end, and we can talk about it.
Nice.
So on that form, it has like all different things for, curb appeal price, so that I can get back to the listing agent, because that's a big reason you're able to hold those open houses for that listing agent's
Yes.
feedback.
Yeah, that's right.
So just trying to be, get rewarded that way, so.
And that brings up a really good point, because I have somewhat recently had an agent in the office called to complain about somebody who she let have an open for her. And the person didn't do any of the social media that they had said they were gonna do, didn't put up the open house sign, didn't give her any feedback. A lender apparently was also there and told her that the person just wasn't ready, didn't have sign-in sheets, any of that. So let me just say this. She clearly said, I'll never let that person hold again open for me. And she was even wary because they reached out to her because we were doing the contest. So she's like, I don't know that I want any new people doing open houses for me anymore because of that bad experience. So thank you so much for being thorough about that, because the really important thing is the seller wants to know, how did the open house go? You don't have the seller's contact information if it's not your listing, nor should you. That's your job to give the listing agent the feedback so that way they can pass that on to their seller. And it's not just this. 4 people came. It's 4 people came, 2 of them had agents. Here's their names and their agents' names. And they said they liked this and didn't like that, blah, blah, blah. And here's the questions that they had as well. The only time I pass on anything from a sign-in sheet to a listing agent would be if the person had an agent. There's no reason for me to call their agent and say, hey, your client came in. The listing agent can do that. Hey, Chrissy, your client came into my open house that Ethan had for me, and they said that they really liked the house. So I just wanted to let you know, so you can contact your buyer to see if they want to make an offer. There'd be no reason for the agent that did the hosting to do that, because you're not getting paid. But this is another thing. I had an agent years ago say, the house sold from open house, am I going to get paid? And I said, well, did you write the offer? And he said, no. And I said, well, how would you get paid? And he's like, well, because the buyer came through to my open, but the buyer had their own agent. So the listing agent gets paid. So, let's just be clear. You're there to pick up buyers, and you're there to potentially sell that house, but mostly to work with buyers that you can sell something else to or get listing appointments. So awesome.
Yeah, to add on to that real
Yeah.
quick, I think it's worthy, like whenever they tell you you do have an agent, ask them who it is.
Yeah,
up, like,
absolutely.
Hey, who's your agent? And if they say a name, like, great, but then from there, like, I had it happen at this open house, they said they had an agent, I said, hey, do you have an agreement signed with them? They said, I don't think so.
Right.
And then I started asking questions about, how's their communication, how are they working with you, what do you like, what do you not like? And then from there, I sold myself. And just from that, I just spoke to the one girl this morning. We're gonna sign an agreement today with me rather than the other agent, just because, and it's an agent with 20+ years experience. So it's all about, asking, hey, what did you like about him? She said communication wasn't great. So I got her to switch on her real estate agent that she didn't have agreement with and her loan officer. All in one open.
That's great. And so let's talk about that, because this is being recorded. So I want to be clear.
Yeah.
Not that I wouldn't be clear if it wasn't being recorded, but especially when something's being recorded. We have to ask, are you working with an agent? When Ethan says he got them to change, it's because then he asked the next question, which was, do you have something signed with that person? almost every buyer is gonna say they've talked to a handful of agents. That doesn't mean that they have a commitment with them. If they said, I have an agent, this is who they are, and no, I don't have something signed, but they're my agent, then it's back off. But if they say, you know, I do have something signed, then back off. But even if they say, no, I've been working with Jeff for years, no, we don't have anything signed, but he's my agent, that's still a back off. You know, we cannot solicit other people's listings and we can't solicit other people's clients. Even if they haven't signed something, it depends on how much they say they were working with that other agent, you know, to get them then to work with you. But good job. Awesome. Sarah, want to tell us what's going on out there in Medina today?
So I just got done registering for this golf outing. I have Mia, Kelly, and Rebecca here. We had talked to them about auditing the social medias. Yesterday, I was watching the baseball game and an old friend reached out to have me sell her parents' house that I haven't talked to in probably 5-6 years.
Very good.
So I've been telling them to just audit them to make sure it matches their brand. I had an open house this weekend that kind of sucked. It's overpriced. It was brutal. I sat there and they had 2 dogs that barked for an hour and a half straight.
Oh no.
Yes. But you know, this week we have the class tomorrow. I'm gonna help some of them. They had something happen with the dot loop, so I got to redo the dot loops, help them get their templates better.
Okay.
And then just getting ready for Labor Day weekend. I'm trying to get 2 houses posted so that way I can have a good Labor Day weekend.
Nice. Awesome.
Yep. And then here's Rebecca.
Hey, Rebecca.
Hello. How are you?
Good. How are you? What have you got going on this week?
Not bad. I've been out of the loop a little bit. I was in Nashville for a week and then got my daughter moved back to college. So I haven't been doing much, but I do have a new listing coming up this weekend. So I'm preparing to getting that ready. Sarah's helping me. My first listing. So I'm just trying to get that going. That's really it right now.
Well, good. That's a lot. That's a lot of good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, good to see you.
How you guys need it?
Hi, girls.
Okay, hi. Well, I've been out of the loop too. Last weekend I had my daughter's wedding shower and everything. Talked to a couple people there, and then I was sick all week, but ended up showing one of my buyers a home on Friday night, put in an offer, found out yesterday we didn't get the offer, so back to square one. And I have a referral from another KW agent in the office for another buyer that she doesn't work with. So I'm going to be working with him this week too to hopefully find him something, and just trying to get back out there.
Nice. Well, good. Well, I'm glad you're feeling better.
Thank you.
How about you, Mia?
Morning.
Morning.
Pretty slow as well. I had an open house yesterday. Just one group of people came in. I think the house is still overpriced as well. I have a closing this week,
Nice.
Thursday or Friday, so I'm excited about that.
Is that your first one or second one?
Second.
Okay. Nice. Congrats.
Thank you. And that's about it.
All right. Well, awesome. Well, thank you guys.
Thank
And
you.
thanks for joining. And good luck at the golf outing, Sarah.
Thank you.
All right, Janice, tell us what's going on in Solon.
Okay, I'm here.
Hi.
Maybe I'm here. Okay. So I'm actually remote today. So I'm by myself, but I'm working on getting my Cleveland Heights listing on. Hopefully I gotta go by there today to make sure they finish painting over the weekend so that it's ready to go. And then still waiting on my Shaker Heights listing to be ready, and working through some stuff with this Bedford Heights listing, this crazy buyer. We're releasing them today, so it's going back on the market. And yeah, that's my week.
I gotta know. I loved your social media post over the weekend. It looked like a white party where you were all dressed in white and walking down the street. What was that? That was so intriguing. That looked so awesome. What was that?
So it's called Dinner en Blanc, and it originated in Paris, and now it's like in a lot of cities across the US, where you sign up to go, you're assigned a designated space to meet at, and we never know where we're gonna actually eat at. So then it's a process. You walk to the destination of where we're actually going to eat and party, and so it's the only place you can really like drink outside without getting in trouble with the police. There's no restriction on alcohol, and they have a DJ, and they have like a jazz, or last year we had like a harp. They was playing music while we eat, and so it's really like elegant, and you have to wear white. It's a ton of rules, like.
Yeah, it looked beautiful. These long tables were so beautiful.
It was a lot of people. So you set up your table to where you want to set it up.
Okay.
Last year it was a lot of people, but this year it was like that, probably double from last year, because last year was the first year. So as it continues to grow, but you got to be invited to come. You can't just decide.
Yeah. Sure.
It's a big thing, and it's a lot of fun.
That looked amazing.
From it.
Yeah, I bet. Well, it looked beautiful. Well, awesome. All right, Mary, tell us what's happening in Mansfield.
Well, I'm still trying to get that open house or contract with the for sale by owner. They have an auction taking place a couple doors down from them on September the 12th for another property.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of allowing me to hold the open house for them, they're going to do their own little open house thing. So I just keep trying to be supportive, let them know if for some crazy reason it doesn't sell, think of me first. I'll do an open house for you. We'll do all the advertising, and we're just waiting it out, see what happens.
It sounds like everyone's got a lot of either for sale by owners or open house kind of things happening. What other kind of lead generating things are you working on this week besides that?
Well, I was just trying to log in because I realized for some crazy reason that City is part of our Keller Williams paid for plan. Is that right? Or no?
I'm not sure what you mean by paid for plan. So we at Keller Williams do supply Opcity as an option to the agents.
Okay. So explain that a little bit more maybe.
Yeah. So Opcity is a realtor.com product.
Mm-hmm.
So it's through realtor.com. And there is no monthly fee for Opcity because they collect a hefty referral fee, which I believe is like 38%.
Yeah, it is crazy.
Yeah, and each broker from each of the market centers is the person who can sign you up for that. So again, though, a lot of people sell a lot of Opcity leads homes that they wouldn't have normally had, even though they have to pay that hefty referral fee. So internet leads are one of two ways. Either you are part of like Zillow and you pay a hefty monthly fee. However, Zillow doesn't have an opinion about if you sell those people houses because you paid for them. You paid monthly for them. So you don't pay the referral fee. Where other internet sources that don't have a monthly fee, they make their money up with charging a hefty, referral fee.
Okay, well, I was trying to figure that out this morning. I know we've had.
Rich would be the person who would get you signed up for that.
Who was that?
Rich Cosgrove would get you signed up for that if you have interest. Yep.
Okay. And I know we have, Lori and I have dealt with a referral fee, I believe, in the past when selling a property as far as paying them, but yeah.
Oh yeah. And let me tell you, Opcity in particular, they police, like they must have an entire staff of people someplace in the country who just runs names on the tax records to see if any of their leads actually did buy. Like they have threatened to shut the brokerage down for Opcity leads because someone had a closing and didn't pay the referral fee. They will find it. Go ahead.
I have a question about that. So if I have a buyer of Opcity that like requested a tour of a certain home, and they don't want it, and I find another home.
Doesn't matter.
That's so.
That's right. Yep, because
So-
that's
And I was
the
like,
lead
"Do you
source.
do lots?" Because I was like.
They do. They really do.
Not that I was planning.
No, but they are like, it's like they have little munchkins that run around in the internet and find this stuff because they have sent us letters where it was 6 months ago, someone sold a house and didn't pay the referral fee, but then we had to go collecting from the agent and paying it. Otherwise, they would they don't mess around. They will shut us down.
Buyer lead and you sell their home.
So it just depends on how they signed up on the site. So as long as they signed up on the site as a buyer and you were able to procure the listing, but if they signed up on the site as a buyer/seller,
Gotcha.
yeah. Yep, just read through that agreement that you probably signed with them when you signed up I think they even go as far as to say, even within 2 years, if you got a lead from them and then sold them a house 2 years later, and they hunt you down. So
Oh, wow.
definitely, yep. But they're pretty decent leads. I mean, they are pretty decent leads, so it's definitely worth it for people to be working the internet leads that way.
Well, I have a very difficult deal that's going to be closing hopefully on the 31st. It's been quite the roller coaster ride and a lot of learning. But we're getting close.
Okay.
And I have another closing hopefully on the 5th.
We learn the most when we have rocky deals. When they're smooth, we're all happy, but you learn nothing because it was easy. And I'll be honest, it's not the norm. There's usually bumps in the road in some way. Honestly, whenever I have a smooth transaction, I'm holding my breath. What's gonna happen? Something's
were-
going.
Complete opposites. Like the one on the 31st was like seriously been quite the roller coaster, and then the one for the 5th, it was cake.
Yeah. You never know. Well, good. See, go ahead, Danny, and tell us what's going on with you.
Hi, good morning.
I shift and I lose.
I do have a quick question though about the
Yeah.
Opcity.
Mhm.
So what if you get an agent referral, but you somehow happen to get them on Opcity too?
That's a struggle. You'd have to prove your case with Opcity that you had already been in communication
Mhm.
in some other way with that
Gotcha.
lead.
Gotcha. Okay. Anyways, this week, the fairs, the Geauga County Fair is the end of the week, so I'll be pretty busy with that. I'll be like totally out on Thursday, all day Thursday.
What do you do there?
Potentially-
What are you gonna do?
I have kids that are showing the families that I help, so I'll be helping some families. I have younger cousins that are showing. So we'll be very in tune with that, hoping, to hear good news from there. So this week I just have 100 contacts that like is my goal to contact
Okay.
for lead gen.
Nice.
My multi-million-dollar buyer is coming into town next Monday, potentially. So I'm trying to think of more informational stuff that would be of value to him to bring to him.
You mean your listing? You mean your
Yes.
listing?
Yes.
Listing, okay. You said buyer.
So,
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like what else can I bring to you that you're gonna, like, and not just send me the young boys business card.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways, so I'm gonna also print out the listing agreement, have him sign that as well. Get that ball rolling. And I have a closing hopefully today. It was supposed to be Friday, but we got pushed back to today because of some buyers financing. Yeah. It's all right. I'm learning a lot though. Learning a lot throughout this transaction, so I appreciate that. And then I think that's it. I'm trying to find a house in like the 250 to 350 range for a buyer because they've been looking for a year to 2 years and feel bad for them. They're also family, so yeah. And I think that's it so far. So yeah.
Awesome. So are you going to wear your Keller Williams hat to the fair so that people ask you, are you a real estate agent?
Well, considering that
No.
I probably will go a separate day to do that. I don't think I'll do that on Thursday because Thursday's show day. I'll probably be wearing like other breeders, like logoed stuff that I showed for and stuff. But we'll probably go back on Saturday and I'll probably be decked out in KW stuff. So
Okay, what are you showing? You're showing horses?
no, oh no, I hate horse people.
Oh.
No offense to horse people. You guys are just a different breed. No, I grew up raising sheep. I grew up on a sheep farm, so we just showed like all around the state and nationally. And now we have like little cousins just showing sheep. But I mean they actually have good stuff this year, so we'll see if they win or not. But yeah.
Thanks. Well, good luck. That's
Thank you.
exciting.
Thank you.
And good luck with your rough seller here.
Thank you.
Hopefully you get it. Go ahead.
I wanted to ask him, if he doesn't mind, how did he get that lead for his seller with the big
You're
house?
gonna like this. How did you get your 4.7 million in Glenmore?
It's actually funny because he was an expired listing, and yeah, honestly, I got it. I'm very ambitious. I'm very motivated and persistent, and it was listed at 4.7, and that's like the luxury market is what I'm kind of gearing up for. So it was an expired listing. I just got back from a meeting with the top luxury agent in Columbus. That Tuesday expired on Wednesday. I looked at it. I looked under Realist to see who owned it. I looked him up in Forewarn. I called him and I left him a message and as well as text him. And I followed up with a text on Thursday and Friday. And from Accountability Partners, I got the idea I make a ton of real estate videos too. I don't know if like anyone has seen my social media, but I try to make a ton of videos for real estate. And someone gave me the great idea to make a video of me pretty much presenting to the seller why they should use me. And I did that, and I took the whole weekend to make that video. I sent it to him on Monday. And within 5 minutes, he texted me back and said, "So I see you're persistent," and it all started from there. And that's how I got him. So and it's been like a month and a half, probably 2 months now that we've been talking, and I'm throwing ideas out to him constantly, telling him this is what I'm going to do for you. This is what I have planned. So yeah.
Awesome.
That's great, thank you.
Yep, of course.
All right, Sean, tell us what's going on with you this week.
Good morning.
Morning.
Actually, I had a quick question before we
Yeah.
jump into that about, and I don't know if this has ever been done before, but we have an agent in our office who's put out to us to do open houses, and me and another member of the group have done open houses at their home with little success. And we keep seeing like the price just keeps getting adjusted, and then they'll reach out to us like, on a Thursday afternoon and say, "Hey, do you want to do the open on a Saturday or Sunday?" So we've done it a few times, but my question was, at what point can you talk to that agent and basically say like, "Hey, I think there needs to be a little bit more of an investment here, either from your side or from our side, and maybe we can come to some sort of an agreement." Like, I guess what I'm trying to say is there a pitch to make them and say like, can we get a point or a point and a half of your commission if we did
No
more
listing agent's ever going to share their listing just because someone's hosting opens. They're not.
Well, that's what I was saying, but I mean, what I was saying about the investment wise, because we're just seeing like there's really nothing around this house promoting it other than us posting on social media that we're holding it open or putting out signs or doing something on those lines.
So you're saying you're wanting a listing agent to pay for marketing for it? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, I think it's kind of become a little bit of a trend, at least in the past 3 weeks, where, if you're following this house or somebody who's come through it, you see that the price just keeps getting knocked down further and further. So either it's not priced properly, And they're seeing that and they're just reducing until they get somebody. But yeah, for them to do a little bit more marketing to it
So
too,
here's
otherwise.
my
just like
thinking on it is a couple things. One, the listing agent, I would not. Now, of course, when I say I would not, it's really up to the client. So it's not what I would recommend is to do chiseling the price down slowly. I would do, depending on the price point, I would do a withdraw, relist, new price. Instead of doing 5,000, 3,000, 2,000, or whatever they're doing for reductions, let's have that listing agent needs to have a serious conversation with their client and show them, why it's priced too high, because in this hot market, it should have been sold. And I would withdraw the listing that you currently have off the market with a status change form. And then all you need to do is do a new exclusive right to sell. And then you copy that listing, so you don't have to redo the whole listing in the MLS, but it gets a whole new MLS number. And then I would even maybe take a new front photo of the house, something so that you can get it in front of a whole new group of people and they don't recognize, oh, there's that listing again, because buyers are just watching that same house drop, drop, drop. So withdraw it, new front photo, and new price when you relist it, so it goes back in like a new listing. It gets broadcast out like a new listing. Now, the days on market, it doesn't do away with and go to a clean slate until it's 30 days off, but that's okay. Agent, people aren't necessarily looking at that online, but it does make it look like a new listing. However, as a listing agent, this may sound a little harsh, and I'm letting other agents host an open for me, the view from the listing agent is this, although maybe the listing agent doesn't want to host their own open houses, so it is also a favor to them, but it's giving agents an opportunity to host an open for them. So as a listing agent, as a team agent, or any of the people that are working with other, potential agents to host opens for them, they're not going to do the marketing for you and they're not going to give you a piece of the commission. Look at it like it's an opportunity to pick up buyers. Whether or not you sell that house is irrelevant. And of course, you could always say no. I mean, as a buyer's agent, you don't have to say, yes, I'm going to do it every time. You're not on this person's team. You're not required to host it open. So I think that you would burn a bridge with the listing agent if you ask them for compensation in any way other than you bring a buyer, even to put towards marketing for the open house, to be honest.
Yeah.
Can I add something?
Yeah, I was just thinking back to the class about the open house, where the guy was saying like to be selfish with your time and stuff like that. So
and that's true. So that's how you can say no to that person. It sounds like, or this, hey, so-and-so, I really want to have this great relationship with you while I'm holding opens. But it seems like this house is, until we can get it at a price that it seems like it'll draw people, please just keep me on deck for other listings, would be my way. But Janice, go ahead. She wanted to add to that.
I was just going to say the goal of the open house is really not to sell the house. Like, few houses are sold at open houses. The goal of the open house really is for you to find additional buyers who are not currently represented or who are in the process of transitioning from their current agent and looking for someone else to represent them. By that, and I know exactly what house you're talking about because we talked about it last week. I would say, and I don't know if you guys have done this who have held that house open. You have to get creative in how you advertise open houses, especially for houses that have been on the market for a long time. When I say long time, I'm talking about 3 weeks, because I'm not talking about months and months. I know this house has not been on that long, but you have to get creative in how you attract attention to come and actually take a look at it, because I know you guys' open houses have not had great traction anyway in coming to see that property. So you want to look at that. If you're going to hold it open, don't wait till Thursday to reach out to them to ask to host. Reach out to them on Tuesday and say, hey, can I hold it open on Saturday or Sunday, so that you have all week to advertise on your socials. Posted in there. Shaker Heights has because I know it's in Shaker, it has a Shaker Heights neighborhood group posted in there, posted on Facebook Marketing, posted in other places to gain attention. you can also create ads through campaign that's gonna allow people to click on it and come right into your database that you can kind of nurture and go forward with that. You just have to get creative with that. But I agree with Gina. As a listing agent, I would never give away my commission for me allowing you guys to hold, or anyone to hold an open house for me. It comes with the territory. Unfortunately, as a new agent, we all have to kind of, how they say, cut your teeth in this business, and that's a part of it, unfortunately. But I really hate that this house is not moving for you guys, because I thought that it would have gotten more attention than what it has gotten.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, what else are you working on, Sean?
So, just following up on my door knocking. So
Okay.
it was the way that I mapped out the streets, it's a 4-day process. So I did Thursday, Friday. So then it'll be Thursday and Friday this week as well, which will complete the week. And then that'll be for my month of September. I'm following up with some people. I think I mentioned on the call maybe before that I had met a person whose wife was just about ready to have a baby. Did I share this story already?
I think yes, it sounds familiar.
So basically, following up with them as well, the little gift that I got for them and stuff along those lines. And then there's a house that I sold in Wyoga Lake, and that's in Stowe. And there's 2 neighbors that border the house, and both of them are on the verge of looking like they're going to post. Looking like they're both going to list. So starting conversations with those neighbors, I've already had conversations. I'm just continuing them to try to get my foot in the door to make a presentation.
Right. So what about your Portage Lakes potential listing?
Yep. So that is on the look there. So, we're working on that. I asked the trustee, who happens to be my father-in-law, but apparently because this man is still alive and there's 5 children that he has, they're working on selling 3 other commercial properties before they get to the house. But I did ask that we could get in there to take photos, trying to make the commitment, at least from not the inside of the house, but at least the outside. So if this thing posts, if they go to list it maybe in October or November when things are dead or not green, that we at least have pictures of a non-frozen lake behind the house and a few other things. So they're working on getting us some dates. I think I shared with you that one of the kids moved into the house, that they're trying to get out of the house. So just a few issues like that.
Situations, yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, so working on getting a few dates where we can get there to at least assess the house and see the property. But I shared the address with you, and anyhow, it's up in the air as to when we'll be able to get it, but I'm hoping the next couple of weeks we'll get a date or so we can get in there.
Good. All right. Well, hopefully I'll see you at Living. I'll be there tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll be here tomorrow.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, it's 11. So sorry for those of you I didn't get to, but I really want to jump in here and go over this new agent launch. So let me get into the Google Drive here and pull this. So you guys, some of you I may have given this to already because we've met and went over your GPS together. And others are just maybe seeing it for the first time. But it is in the Google Drive. And it's right here in this folder. So let's just have a discussion around it. These are things that maybe you've already done. So I'll just rewind for those of you who have not heard me talk about this yet. Okay, just a little bit bigger. So in addition to when you get licensed and you're brand new, you get onboarded at each of your brokerages, you get a 30, 60, 90 from the person who's in charge of each market center of doing your onboarding. And your 30, 60, 90 is more system related. So it's going to give you that checklist of things that you should do as a new agent in your first 30 days, 60, then 90. Mostly suggestions, some have tos like join the MLS and things like that. But you certainly don't have to get a professional headshot. You don't have to order business cards, but those are things that are greatly suggested. So some of the things are, these are the things I have to do and these are the things I should do. So those are all system related things. So Mark and I, let's rewind maybe 6 months ago, started talking about, do we revise the 30, 60, 90, or do we make just an additional one that is specifically geared for brand new agents or agents that had been in the business for a little while and just maybe missed some steps because maybe they were at another brokerage or they just weren't as in tuned here at the brokers and now they're ready to jump right in. So in addition to, but not replacing the 30, 60, 90 is this launch to your success in real estate. So we're just going to kind of go down some of these. This is in there and we developed it like a checklist for the reason of, you know, you can print this out and actually have this like a to-do list. So one of the first things is to be aware of the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book by Gary Keller and learning the different models. The reason why that's important, and it says learn it, not necessarily read it. We wouldn't want your first to do as a brand new agent is to read the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, which is not a easy read. It's more like a textbook. But I would say let's dip your toe in and be aware of it. And mostly be aware of the different models, because you're going to start thinking as you're growing your business, what model do I want to implement? What model am I? You might not even realize, maybe if you haven't looked at it yet and you've been in the business for a few months, you might look back and you can see what model you have been living and working through. So just being aware of that. I know Janice was hosting a really great book club. They were having discussions around Millionaire Real Estate Agent. I put a series on a couple years ago where we taught the chapters once a week and went through it as a group. So there's lots of different ways that we can have conversations about it. Each market center, Jose's taught a class on it before. There's lots of information about the Millionaire Real Estate Agent as well. Then attending Dominate Your Week at least twice a month. So this is just to give you some ideas. Obviously, you guys are here today, so thank you. So you know what we're all about in Dominate Your Week, but it's a great way for you to what? Talk about the things that you're going to be doing in the up and coming week. So you've sort of committed to yourself because you said it out loud, but also to learn from each other of the things that you're doing and the things that they're doing. And then we wrap our discussion around that every week. It's a great way to kickstart your week. So this particular one, by the way, guys, was designed from Mark and I for legacy. So that's why you'll see legacy stuff on here. It wasn't me creating this for the PC program, but I wasn't just going to greedily hang on to it just for legacy agents. So I'm opening that up to sharing it with everyone at Living and Elevate as well, which is why I didn't go in and make the change. So each market center has their own site. So Legacy is Legacy Group Guide. Janice, what is it called at Living, the resource page? And I know Sarah can tell us there's one at Elevate as well.
Oh gosh. KW Agents Guide. I think
that's what it is. Yeah, that is what it is. Yep.
And Elevate is kwelevateagent.com.
Perfect.
You have to sign up because Mike Schmieder has to let you in.
Gotcha. Good to know. So each one has their own resource page that's designed around that particular location and market center. So spending some time going over the Google Drive, which is where I just pulled this out. For those of you who've been in there, I think everybody on here has access to it because you're in coaching. There's a ton of resources in there. There's videos, there's how-tos. Every class I've ever done, there's a ton of information. So you should spend some time exploring that if you have not. Making sure that you're coming to or trying to come to the market center's team meetings. So at Legacy, it's the second Tuesday of every month, and Living and Elevate have theirs. I want to say it's the third Wednesday, and Sarah, help me out. I know Elevate's the one that ping pongs in my mind for some reason. It's also on a Wednesday. And
Elevate is the second Wednesday of every month.
Yep. So Elevate's the second Wednesday, and I believe that Living is the third Wednesday of every month. So the team meeting, is that right, Janice?
Yes.
Perfect. what happens at your team meetings is it's the whole brokerage. It's not just coaching. So it's one, there's so many different topics that go on, from congratulating people for succeeding in certain ways, but we usually have a broker minute and they talk about different relevant things that are going on that we need to know about. I can't tell you the times that I hear people, just agents out in the kitchen area or whatever, saying, I didn't even know that thing. And I keep my mouth shut sometimes, believe me when I say I do sometimes keep my mouth shut. But I want to say, how could you not know that? Really, Brendan, are you looking at me like I don't care? I saw your head. I do. Here's what I'll say. If I really said everything I thought, then less people would like me. In any case, we text it, we email it, and we talk about it relentlessly. But there are things that are talked about at those team meetings that are learning moments, but also informational things. This is your business, guys. You are in real estate, you're in business, you are your own business. So you are responsible to know the changes and things that are going on in the industry, whether that's contract related or rule related or whatever it is. So when I hear somebody saying, I didn't know that thing from 3 months ago, I choke on that, because we put it out there so many times. But that's also why it's important to come to the team meetings. They're always recorded and they're uploaded into Legacy Group Guide and the two for Elevate and Living. So they're stored there if you missed. And you can also watch or listen in on Zoom. You don't have to be present. You can put an AirPod in if you're at another job. There's definitely ways of getting that information. So trying to be part of that, I think, is really important at each market center. It's also a great way to network with other agents and start to get to know people. I know Ethan met an agent at the company picnic who he's hosted these open houses for. So great network, great connect, and it got you your first transaction for a $475,000 house. So definitely the way to take advantage of that. So good job there. Taking track. Grow and add context to your command database if that's what you're using for your CRM. So if you have not, go ahead and get your appointments scheduled with Lynn to go over how to use command. And one of the things she's going to tell you is, I need to see you adding context so that I can show you then how to create smart plans and drips and things like that. So you should be regularly adding people. So here it says add 100 people into your database. And if you're using command, it's command. Your database is also your contact management, hence the CRM, if someone doesn't know what that means. So once you start adding people, you want to tag them. You want to tag them in different type of things. So if I met them in open house, I want to tag them open house. If they are an SOI, I want to tag them accordingly. Engaging those contacts, so reaching out to them in some way. We have a new real estate agent script that's in the drive to be able to call those people. They don't know that they're in your database if you don't tell them. So you're going to use scripts to be able to let them know that you're going to send them things throughout the month and throughout the year. Social media, follow the 555 rule. So also I taught a class, which I will again, called the 555 and the 3x3. And what I'll just touch on real quickly is the 5x5 is 5 text messages for 5 days to 5 people. And there's a whole class on that. And there's a 3x3 as well. And on there, then you want to make sure that you're on social media in particular, liking 5 posts, commenting, and then direct messaging those people. So again, there's a class and a whole plan just around that will help you grow your database as well in a very deliberate way. Shadowing some open houses. You should definitely immediately start, shadowing opens. You'll want to start shadowing a couple before you just jump right in, just to get an idea of what kind of style do I like? What do I like? Good habits, bad habits, that kind of thing that somebody may have had. And shadowing could also be just look at the open houses that are in an area that you want to view. And it doesn't have to just be KW agents, and just get familiar with being in strangers' homes, getting comfortable walking into an open house or going to a parade of homes, that kind of thing. And then of course, shadowing buyer and listing appointments is a good idea. How do we do that? Well, so anytime I have an appointment, I go in the chat and say, whoever wants to shadow me. I know Janice and Sarah at the other offices let people shadow them, but there's other agents within the office also that are more than willing to let you shadow appointments. And I would say it's really important in particular to try to shadow a listing appointment. It's a way different dynamic than kind of just being that HGTV tour guide through a house. And the white kitchen, what do you think about a white kitchen? Do you like a white kitchen or do you prefer a sherry kitchen? I mean, that's a little bit different. We can work our way through a showing. You can't quite do that with a listing appointment. That's also why we do the multiple offer workshop quarterly, which is when we tour a vacant listing and role play that out, because maybe you haven't gotten a chance to do that to shadow appointments. But you're also going to have those opportunities when you start meeting agents within the office and asking those questions. So I would definitely, try to do that. It's sparse right now. So there's not listing appointments. I used to at some point have 2 to 3 listing appointments a day. So there was a ton of appointments to shadow. It's just not been the case in the past couple of years, but trying to get out there and shadow some appointments is very important. Also shadowing inspections, get familiar with what goes on at a home inspection. So it's easier for you to explain. So Ethan's going through this. I'm picking on you today because you're in front of me. But he's going through his first transaction and his first inspections. And so now once you've been through that, now you can explain to your next client what to expect from their inspection. I have a seller right now who's like, what exactly are they going to do at the inspection on Tuesday? And I said, they're going to deeply invade your privacy. So be prepared. They're going to look at everything from the roof to the attic to the basement, outside, inside, check everything, including every plug outlet, everything. So once you've experienced a home inspection, and I don't know that you have to go to multiples, you can usually spend 3 hours in a home inspection and get the idea of the way it's going to work. So you'll want to attend your home inspections, for one, because it's a good learning experience. You get to learn things about houses that help you in showings later, but also you want to be present because you don't want some out of control home inspector saying things to your buyer that you have to keep kind of under control, such as this. The seller should fix this, the seller should fix that. I never want to hear those words come out of a home inspector's mouth. Tell us about the house. Leave the real estate negotiating up to the agents. That will be a great way to break the deal when they say, well, the inspector said the seller should fix it. Well, it's none of the inspector's business. So you'll want to make sure that there isn't craziness going on. Plus, your buyers should attend the inspection, and they shouldn't bring every neighbor and family member as a tour for the inspection. It's not meant to be, now let's have 20 cars. Like, you don't want to be a listing agent and get the phone call from a neighbor saying, why is there 25 cars in my driveway? I thought it was just the home inspector and the buyer, So keeping those kind of things under wrap, you'll find those things out as you're shadowing those. Here's really important, and I know you guys are not necessarily doing this. You don't need to wait for us to do a writing offer class, which we do. You should get on to dotloop and you should practice writing 2 purchase agreements and writing 2 listing agreements. You don't want the first time to be when you're sitting in front of a client. Practice that. At Legacy, and I know we're working on it at Living and Elevate, I have PC sample buyer, PC sample seller packets in dotloop that I've completely filled out all the paperwork with side notes so that you can know what to do and what documents are needed. Also getting familiar with dotloop is extremely important. You don't want the first time that you, are writing an offer to be, sorry, when you're writing an offer is not the first time you want to be looking at dotloop. Here, hang on, guys. Sorry about that. There we go. Watching the MLS training video in the Google Drive, I purposely had someone record herself entering a listing in the MLS. She also shows how to upload photos and how to upload supplements, because again, it's my first time and I have got my paperwork together, and now I have to sit down in front of the MLS and do this live reel. Now, you cannot do practice rounds of listings on the MLS. So that's not what I mean. You have to actually have a listing contract signed to do it, but watch the video to get yourself familiar. It's very detailed. Tomorrow's class is about running CMAs and preparing for listing appointments, but you should start practicing that. You should be familiar with the MLS and spend some time on how to do a CMA and what does that look like. Got tons of information in files in here as well in the drive on how to do those things. Here's one that I kind of am always iffy about. Scheduling walkthroughs. So when you're scheduling a showing from the MLS, there's something called agent preview. So you don't want to falsely schedule a showing. You want to request an agent preview. If it's for your own training purposes, you want to select vacant listings. Do not ask someone to leave their home so that you can get familiar with touring homes if you don't actually have a buyer. I wouldn't want the wrath of a listing agent when they ask you for feedback and you say, oh, no, it was just an agent preview. It wasn't me previewing it for a client who's out of town. I just wanted to get familiar because I'm a new agent. And then they're going to tell you, oh my gosh, my seller had to come home and take their dogs out and get a babysitter for their kids and all these things so that you can play in their house, you know, real estate agent. Don't do that. Get familiar with walking to people's houses, but if you're going to do an agent preview, schedule it as an agent preview and try to select a vacant listing so that people don't, you know, get crazy and come down on you for making their sellers leave the house. Let's see. Scheduling your onboarding with Amanda at Legacy and each of the market centers has someone who handles your onboarding if you haven't done that yet. Visit the ALC meetings. So on the training calendar, you'll see that there's different committees that the ALC hosts. So you should look at what those committees are and would you want to be part of any of them? You're welcome to go at any time and visit those.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Danny. I'm going to mute you. This is being recorded. I'm sure. Anyway, moving on. Submit your ideal calendar. Yeah, right. So your calendar, making sure that you're using a calendar. I use a Google Calendar, but you should be blocking time for lead generating, lead follow-up, classes, appointments, all of those things that we go over in your GPS appointment should be on a calendar. Questions on that? We've only got about 9 more minutes, so I'm kind of going through this quickly. Questions on the first 30. All right, moving on. Schedule another tech consult with Lynn. So you're going to schedule a couple with her. She's going to show you how to use SmartPlan. She's going to show you how to use the CRM, but you also need to learn how to use the compliance and commission part of Command. So like I just got a listing under contract and I'm a dual agent. So I have to send compliance in for the listing side, separate from the buyer side. I'm going to wait to do the commission until after the appraisal, because if I have to make any adjustments to the price or anything like that, but then I have to know how to submit my commission to the office. Otherwise, we don't get paid. And you want to do your compliance right away, because if there's something that you miss, let's say there's an initial missing from a lead-based paint disclosure. If you don't have those all in, you will not get paid. If you don't have a document that's required, like an agency disclosure, and it's not fully signed, you will not get paid until it gets turned in. So it's really hard to get something signed from a person that's not your client after the fact. So you want to make sure you have your ducks in a row, and that's why we have a compliance department. So you don't have to worry about missing something. The person who handles compliance at each market center will make sure that everything is all together. And they'll kick out to you, hey, I need this. Hey, I see we're missing that, kind of a thing, so that you'll have plenty of time before the closing. Creating your GPS and meeting with me to go over that, meeting with Janice or Sarah at the other market centers, or a combination of the three of us. Also Allison out at Mansfield does them for the Mansfield office. And then continue to grow your database. Now it's telling in the, you know, now you're past your first 30 days and you're into the 60. Now you should be adding another 100 people into your database and setting them up in a SmartPlan. Find an accountability partner and scripting partner. I know a lot of you are doing that, and I love that that's been happening. So anyone who wants an accountability partner and a scripting partner, we've got our chat. There's over 100 people in it. Dive in and ask for one. If you didn't find one, just let me know, and we will definitely find someone who also feels like you, who doesn't know anybody yet and wants to have that accountability partner. Time blocking 1 to 2 hours a day for lead generating. Let's also talk about this. Lead generating and follow-up are two very different things. Do not think because I sit down for 60 minutes today following up with everybody that I met at open house that that's considered a lead generating activity. It is not. I already met them. That's not lead generating. Lead gen is getting new leads. Follow up with people I already have talked to or met with is just nurturing those leads. So do not have the crossover. Do not think that you've achieved lead generating today when you're just digging into your database that's already there and you're following up with those people. Again, that's considered follow-up. So your calendar should say 1 hour of follow-up, 1 hour of lead gen. Lead gen activities could mean a lot of things. We do a lot of classes on it. One could be creating my social media for the month. I'm going to work on that today. So 1 hour of my lead generating today on Monday is going to be creating social media for the next couple of weeks or something. That's a lead generating activity. Another lead generating activity could be calling my 100 people I've added to my database and I haven't called them yet. They don't know that I want to set them up in a smart plan. That's generating business. So just always keep that in mind. It's called lead gen for a reason, because that means that I'm generating new business, but you can lead gen from your SOI. It's not that I'm contacting brand new people. Can I lead gen from people that I know? Yes, because I'm calling them in some way, or I'm sending them something, I'm posting something, I'm giving them some kind of information to get them to either think of me when they want to buy or sell or refer me business. That would still be considered lead gen. Anything that you're doing to bring new business. Writing 5 to 10 note cards a week. You can decide who those are going to go to. That should be something that you're doing on a regular basis. Maybe that's to your SOI. Maybe that's a thank you card for coming to your open house. Maybe those are invites to neighbors that you want to invite to a future open house. Lots of different ideas on that. We've got more information. Like all of these things we've had a class on, and there's more information to learn about it, or you can always reach out. Considering additional lead sources, here's some lists of the different internet sites that you can possibly join if you wanted to do that, researching that, getting coffee with a top producing agent in your office or out of your office, outreach to your SOI. This is based on amount of time a week. I would say this right here, this document is to set you up as a full-time agent. So understand if you're a dual career person, then you can slash some of this stuff in half. Some of them are just a one and done, but you certainly don't have to feel like you have to spend 2 hours a day doing something if you're a dual career person and you don't want real estate to be your full-time job. Networking local businesses and becoming a regular there and trying to get opportunities out of that. Attending local events that go on in your area and marketing about it, making community posts. We were just talking about that today. Creating different events on social media that tell people what's going on. Whose neighborhood has trick or treat when? That's something that could be coming up now. Use the seasons and the holidays for content. I pass out something that tells when the July 4th fireworks are at in the community. You can do different things. We have an amphitheater in Jackson. What's the amphitheater schedule for the summer? Those are all things that you can turn into content for postcards, mailings, emails, and just social media posts. Just investigating what's going on around you is really important. Reviewing next month's training calendar. So like the September calendar is out. So looking at that now and saying, what am I going to come to in the month of September, and getting that time blocked, always ahead. Inspect that calendar, review, making sure that it is something that you're regularly using. If you don't do something that day, it doesn't just disappear. You move it. If I don't complete something today, which probably in my world would not happen. However, it gets moved. If I don't do it, I don't lose it, I just move it. So getting really good at time blocking is a great way, especially for dual career people. If you want to be able to manage both things, you have to be a expert in time blocking, and then you'll absolutely be able to be fully successful in both avenues. What else? Quickly through this, and we're running out of time. Your next 60 to 90 days, checking in on the progress that you've got happening with either your team leader or one of your PCs. Nurturing all of your contacts, making sure at this point now I've got 200 people in my database. Are they all in some kind of a 36 touch campaign of some sort? Reviewing and reconnecting the reading list. Did I do the things that I said I was going to do on my GPS? Am I listening to books on Audible? Am I reading different things? Am I doing all the things that I said that I wanted to do in the beginning? Because now you've got all this extra stuff you're adding, and now you've got to go backwards to your GPS and see what did I miss and start filling in those blanks. Hone in on your top 50. So let's take 1 minute to talk about that. Within your database, you should always have a database that you're going to tag called your top 50. Your top 50 might start out as 10 people, and that's okay. You're going to grow your top 50, and your top 50 is defined as this. These are people that either I have worked with because they have bought or sold real estate with me, so those could be past clients, or they have referred me business. They have given me a referral. So now they're going to be on my top 50. So that's where it starts. My top 50 is never going to be 51. We're not trying to grow a top 500. You can't manage your 500 people the same way you can manage 50. It doesn't mean we don't have 500 people in our database. It just means we have one that's tagged top 50. And those are the people that I'm going to bring 50 mums to in the fall. And maybe it's only 10 this year. So whatever that looks like for you as you're growing your top 50, I'm going to call them 4 times a year. I'm going to go to coffee with them twice a year. Those are the people that you're really nurturing in a high way. So like, imagine this, I have 50 people in a top 50 database, and of those top 50, half of them give me a name of someone who wants to buy or sell, half. And then of those 25 people, only half of them actually reach out to me, and only half of them actually buy or sell. You're at minimum 10 grand for the year just from nurturing your top 50 database. So you have to do it in a very deliberate way, though. They're special and they should know they are. Creating branding and logo. We talked about this last week. All of your branding should be consistent. My social media should look like my packets. My business card color combo should look the same. Everything should be very branded. Luckily, KW is pretty neutral in the white, black, and red. So pretty much everything could match that. I mean, that makes it just an easy go-to. Do you have to be branded with all those colors? Should my outfit match my business card? Like, you don't have to get that carried away, but it should at least all have the same type of brand. My email signature should match my business card, should match my packets. That's that layering effect that keeps you top of mind. It's not just your name they're seeing, it's the brand again and again and again. So really important with brand. Finding a buddy, finding someone to do things with, that would be your accountability partner. Maybe you feel uncomfortable coming into the team meetings because you don't know anybody. We'll make that connection with somebody else and you guys can do that together. I was also telling Chrissy about how Brendan and Sierra last year did their whole Halloween thing together as a group, and they had just met at that point. They were both new here. Sierra just transferred here. Brendan was here only a couple months at that point. He got a buddy system going, and it just makes it more fun to do it with somebody else. Meeting with the affiliated partners. So each market center has a preferred title company and lender. Know who your affiliates are, and they want to take you to coffee. So go learn about what they can do to help you in your business and what kinds of things they do. It's a good idea to know, what does a title company actually do? They want to sit down with you and answer that question, because you need to know when you're telling your client, well, why do I care who the title company is, kind of a thing. And then conducting a social media audit. And Sarah, I saw on the chat recently said this either today or yesterday, going through your social media and go backwards, guys, go far back. What kind of post was I posting 2 years ago that I might not want a potential listing to see? Do I need to delete anything? Did I make comments? Lot of hot-headed comments during COVID were going on out there. Do I need to delete something that I'm, and myself too? Do I need to delete something I may have said? You don't want to lose a potential client because of politics one way or the other. So, going through and taking a look at that. All right, I ran through that so fast, but I think we're on time. Questions before we end for today? So that's in the Google Drive. Everyone has access to it. I would love to check in with you guys in a few weeks and kind of see if you're using it and where you're at with it. All right, guys, we'll see you tomorrow on Zoom and at Living.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Gina.
Thank you.
So you guys